We're live.
That was a big
I have
exhale
to
right after.
I have I have to get a video of what this looks like. I'm a gamer today. I've lost my AirPods. Uh and this is so when Tanner when his team went to virtual, they sent them home with like all of the garb,
Hmm.
and so now I have
I
this. This
have a
is what we're
guest
doing today.
co-host. Her name is
Is it Martini
Martini.
or
I hope
or Edward?
it's Martini. I hope this is everyone's listening to us on Apple Podcasts right now. We'll see. I had a fight with Apple Podcasts last week. It wants me to involve a legal team, so
What?
it's fine. I don't know what's happening.
Wait, what? Wait, no, you have to
No,
inform us.
basically it's like to fill out the forms about like profiting, you have to like
Hmm.
have a legal team sign off. But like I'm not trying to make
Do you
money.
need my EIN number?
Yeah, you have an EIN?
Oh my goodness, Kenzie, yes. Yes, this is the part of business I do
Yeah,
understand how to
no, no,
do.
no. Oh, you need an EIN number, and I'm like, I don't know what an EIN number is.
Yeah, and I for some reason I wanted to start rattling it off to you. Yeah, no, the EIN number is like basically your business. So we have the business, and then like for Farm with Zoe, it's a subsidiary of Camp Kelly Farms
Okay.
LLC. Not really. I'm just like making up all these words, but like everything gets funneled through there, and
Oh,
this is like the
wait,
media
this is
branch.
so
So
exciting. Okay, I think that might have been my
yeah,
roadblock. So maybe after this, I'll text you for that
yeah.
EIN number. That's wild that you knew exactly what that is and have it.
Oh yeah, no,
Not
you have
me.
to have your EIN number all the time. If you're an LLC, yesterday I was filling out some paperwork because I'm going to become a forester, and the guy was like, "Give me your last four," and I was like, "Oh, I actually can't give you the last four. I have to rattle off the whole thing because I could
Is the
never
same with
figure
your
out the
social
last four."
security number? As soon as someone just says social security number, I have to say it in my head.
Oh my goodness, it's social security number. Do you remember the day that you learned your social security
No,
number?
I don't, but I do think about it every single day because I'm afraid I'm gonna forget it.
So I was at the police station, um, getting a background check for coaching junior high cheerleading. When I like came back home and I started uh, coaching, I started with junior high, and you have to have a background check and your fingerprints taken. And
Hmm.
I went up to I think it was the sheriff's office, and I was like, "Hey, I need to get this stuff." And he's like, "Okay, what's your social?" And I was like, "Oh, let me text my mom." And he it basically was like, "You're an adult now. You need to know your social security number. It's embarrassing that you don't know it. You need to go home and you need to memorize it."
Wow.
And I said, and he was being like fatherly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like condescending, but it was like, "Hey, get your crap together, please." And I went home and I memorized
Okay,
it.
well, it worked.
Um,
Yeah, I don't have like a memorable story like that. I think I was just filling out a lot of paperwork for like jobs and stuff, and mom was like,
yeah.
"Don't trust me with this. I will lose this." Which now
Yeah.
um, I just showed you my social security card. I am the keeper
Here it is.
of all my important documents,
Oh, good.
and so
Good for you.
and I have this binder now with like everything in it because I don't know why we did not have a great system growing up. No offense, mom. Um,
No, my passport, my social security number is next to these thank you cards and these business uh,
that's so stressful to
numbers.
me. Don't you just lay in bed at night and think about where your documents are?
No, and then this is my TSA pre-check. Like it's just,
What?
and
My
why is it out
TSA
here?
pre-check was just a number.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's because this is global entry,
Oh, I'm
which,
sorry.
oh my gosh, this
I'm
is the ugliest.
Richie Rich McTravel McGee.
This is, no, I'm not Richie Rich Traveling McGee. We were talking about it yesterday. Like yesterday, last year, Tanner and I traveled incredible amount, and I will never financially recover. And I just it was too much. But now now I booked a trip to Iowa for next month.
Oh
So
wow. I think Edward has global entry. Yes, he's nodding. But when we went to Paris, I didn't let him. I made him wait in line with me. I have TSA pre-check, so
well,
it's not that bad. But
yeah, that's Tanner had TSA pre-check because he was traveling for work like a decent amount, and I didn't get it, and we like traveled for like 2 years probably, and like he would just go through his line and he'd be like, "Meet you there," and then I'd always like it'd always take me like 5 minutes to get through security. I'm like,
yeah,
wow, was really worth it for you. Like you got here so much faster than me. And I kind of refused to get it. And then like whenever I think it was like my birthday, he's like, I'll just pay your fee. So then I stop feeling like a jerk when we have to go our separate ways. And I was
Yeah,
like, I don't
see,
want to.
I don't mind going the separate ways. I like having a guy on the inside. Like, you can go to the Starbucks and get the coffee. I mean, what am I gonna do in the line? Just like wait on my phone, and I don't know why it makes me anxious having Eddie wait with me. This was like before TSA pre-check. This was like one time we flew out of Cleveland and I had to wait in the line for like actually 40 minutes. And I just
Mhm.
I felt guilty having someone that could have been on the inside having a coffee. And so I think that strategy is important here. Someone's got to do
Yeah, yeah.
the mobile upload to Starbucks.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. It is weird because like now that I have it, I'm like, ooh, this is nice. But
I would like
it
to
feels like
flag though,
sometimes.
on my trip to Paris, both to and from, I did get randomly searched for bombs, and I think it was because I'm traveling with a Middle Eastern man.
Oh my goodness,
I
racism,
know. In
racism.
both times, Eddie went first, and then he turned back to me, and then take a video of them like searching, doing like the explosives on my hands and stuff.
Well, so it's probably because and this is it, and this is messed up, but this is what it is. They see a Middle Eastern man. They're like, "Oh, bombs." But then they're like, "We can't search him. That would look
Yeah.
racist. We'll search the next
No,
person."
exactly. And it's me.
And so then because what they want Eddie to see some white girl getting searched.
Yeah.
So then Eddie's like, "Oh, look at these non-racist security
Yeah.
people."
Well, we saw right through the racism.
We did. It was more racism that way.
It was racist, and honestly, it was really inconvenient for me.
Do you remember when we went to New York when we were kids and I had a broken hand and they like searched that cast? They like stuck
No.
stuff inside of it and they did like a swap around the outside and then they had to like
That's too
it
much.
was so much and I was like I'm 12. This is pink.
Yeah. That's crazy. I used to be really scared about flying. Like, I don't know. I think it was partly mom's anxiety, like seeping into my own personal fears. But I just remember I used to
I
always just be very anxious about flying, but now I fly so much that.
I'm not anxious about flying. I'm anxious about my flight getting delayed, about getting to my flight. Like
Yeah.
I'm anxious about the process of flying, but like once I'm not worried about being in the air. Like I'm not worried about
Yeah.
the flight
No
itself.
logistics. I hear you. Also, I'm so grateful I don't have to ever park at an airport. I think I would find that really stressful. Like leaving with enough
Yeah,
time to like go to a parking garage. Crazy.
yeah. Well, and at Columbus, I like growing up, we always did the one where like you had the shuttle,
Hmm.
but now I just park in the parking garage. It's like a little bit more expensive, but like just the added not having to go find the shuttle lot and then remember where your spot's at, like just being able to walk out to your car
Yeah.
is worth the extra money to me.
One time when I was in college, I was flying to the West Coast for like a minute, like a week or something.
Hmm.
And I was poor and I didn't want to pay like the everyday fee, so I parked in the green lot. Have you ever parked in the
Hmm.
green lot?
No, but I parked in this one
And
that
the
it
green
was like
lot's
it
like
had
miles away. And like a shuttle comes
no,
every 30 minutes. It's like the most
yeah.
inconvenient thing.
I parked at one time when we went to Montana with Kaylee and Gage. Someone had recommended to them. They're like, "This is the cheapest lot," and it's like the one. It's like literally yellow with purple dots on the things, and they advertise it as the cheapest lot because the day rate is something. But then by the time they charge their fees and
Yeah.
stuff, it was more expensive than the normal place we normally parked, which of course you wouldn't know until we were like
Yeah.
leaving, and then I was like, "Oh, this was a
Yeah,
scam."
no, and like the green lot is part of the Columbus airport, but it's like literally in a field. I don't you can't get to it by going off the normal airport exit. You have to go off a different exit, and it's probably what $20 a day. Like I don't know. I'm sure it wasn't cheap. I should have just had someone just like drive me to the airport and pick me up. It would have been way more cost effective.
Yeah, I don't know. I always end up driving myself, and like the parking garage is like anxious. I hate parking my truck in a parking garage because they're like the 90-degree parking spots,
Hmm.
and like as a person who's been driving for however many years, I still don't know how to maneuver. And that part always stresses me out. But I'm always lucky. It's like if I go 3 floors up, there's one spot that you can drive straight into, and it's like right by a stairwell, and I
Amazing.
almost always get that area. Um,
You've been driving for 13 years. Do you have anything to say about that?
I should be better by now.
It's crazy that you
I
drive
just the
semis.
spatial awareness. The semi's easier because you're up higher, and everyone like you're a semi. People know you can't like maneuver
Yeah,
into a tight spot. And also, I never have to like. There are places that people haul that you have to like back up to a dock and stuff. Like I don't have to do that.
that's good.
I pretty much only have to go straight, and sometimes if I have to go, if I have to go backwards, there's lots of room for error.
Nice. I'm not a very good driver, but it's okay. I don't drive that often.
I drove your vehicle a handful of times last week because my truck was like tied up,
Mm-hmm.
and then we were like out of the fields, and I just didn't want to unhook it up. I don't like your Jeep. I just
I know you
it's
never have.
rickety.
Well,
It's
it
rickety, and
definitely
then I
over
was
the years it's gotten significantly more rickety.
yeah, well, I was like checking a field. I just left the engine running because like there was like 6 lights that were on,
Yeah.
and I was like 20 feet away from the car. It's in park,
Mm-hmm.
and the motor starts revving up and down.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it gonna? What's going on? No one's in
I
there.
know. I don't know. I honestly think sometimes the ghost of Donnie will haunt it because, like, occasionally it just, like, won't start. And then I'll be like, God, if you're real. And then it starts. And it'll just, like, do funny things like that. Um, I know. Every time you turn it on, like, 4 lights pop on. But I don't know. I guess mom wants it. I don't really have a need for it, but it is nice when I come home that I have, like, a car to drive. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not like probably the safest option, and I probably shouldn't be taking it very far.
It's not safe. No, if it is one thing, it is
I
not
always
safe.
I had driven like so backstory to people that have no idea what we're talking about. Um, when we turned 16, our parents bought our first cars for us, and so Zoe got a truck.
No. So my dad got a truck for work like 2 years before I turned 16, and he used it for a while. Mine was an old work truck, but go on.
Okay, I got an old Jeep Wrangler, and Zoe no longer has her car from 16. Do you have your first truck?
No, I
Okay.
sold it. So I'd gotten a new truck, and I can't. It was like it started to cost more to fix it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have kept it forever because I'm not a person that like cares about my
Yeah.
vehicle. But it was
All
falling
this to
apart
say is
quickly.
Cody's original car no longer exists via car accident. Zoe sold her truck. I'm still driving the car I got when I was 16. That was all I wanted to say.
But you're different because you aren't
I don't
you
drive. I mean, I drive
like
it 3 times a year. So, like,
yeah.
but also it has a lot of miles on it for, like, I mean, I don't know. I guess I've had it
For
for
not being driven
10.
for the last
I've had it for
six
10
years.
years,
Yeah.
but anyways, I love that Jeep. And if I was at a place where I needed a car, I'd either get a new Jeep or I'd get a what are they called? Tanner used to drive one.
A Mini
A
Cooper?
Mini Cooper.
Yeah, you know what's really interesting is so last night we were going to dinner, and Tesla is offering like a 90-day free full driving mode, and because Tanner just has like the whatever the free version
Mm-hmm.
is, but they're like offering it to people obviously because they're trying to get people to buy the
Yeah.
subscription, so they're offering it. But then like we were driving and he was using it, and we were both a little scared because we did not like the it merging and
Yeah.
doing stuff. Like it was just a little scary. It didn't do anything wrong, but
Yeah.
like I've gotten very used to like once he is like on the highway, it just drives straight at the speed you set.
Yeah.
Does the keeps you in the lane, but like it turned off the highway for us, and we were both just like,
Yeah, I don't like
um,
that. I don't like
no,
that
it was
one. I
scary.
feel like you have to be almost more alert. You know,
Yeah,
you
100%.
have to
Yeah,
be
because
like,
any moment you need to take
yeah,
over. Whereas if you're just
you're
driving,
just
you're
us
already
doing it.
driving. Yeah, yeah. It's like I'm not
The
convinced
Tesla's
that that's the way it
so
should go. I
interesting
don't know.
because like it has like all of the
Well, and it's constantly yelling at Tanner because like if it looks there's a camera in it that looks at your eyes to make sure that you're looking at
I
the
hate
road.
that.
And it's like sometimes like he's just like looking
Yeah.
around and it like beeps at him and it's like you have I don't know.
Okay. Well, that car would not do well with father driving. I feel like dad looks everywhere but the road. Um, I think it's just funny that like in the back seats to have heated seats, like the wires are in his Tesla. It's just like he's
Yeah.
not paying to have the wires turn on. It's just crazy to me how
Yeah.
like it
Yeah,
comes
because
equipped
because
to
it
do everything, but it's only gonna do what you pay for.
yeah, and so it's just like sitting there. Yeah, it's an interesting business model. But anyway, all this is to say is like a couple weeks ago he was like really looking at Mini Coopers and we were like really debating on getting like a old crappy one, but he insisted he only wanted stick. And I was like, so you're telling me is you want to have a fully autonomous car and then your other car, God forbid, it's an automatic.
Yeah,
And he was like, yeah, because it's like for the art of driving. I'm like,
the art of driving.
I'm like, but you have this other car that does the
That
driving.
it reminds
It
me.
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's crazy. Also, I would want cars for different things. Like if I was living in Washington D.C., I'd want a Mini Cooper, or if I was living like in Long Island, West Hampton, I'd want a Mini
Hmm.
Cooper. But like if I'm living in like Vegas or Ohio, or like I'd want a Jeep.
That
It
makes
just like
sense. Yeah.
feel like different car locations for me. Um,
Hmm.
Speaking of Tanner, so our graphic designer at work sent me just like a GIF, a wall projection, if you will, for our event on Monday. And
Hmm.
they always have to like tell us their like inspiration behind things, and it's always just like so
Okay.
funny and arty and creative.
Hmm.
And this is all it says is after hours, and it like goes fades in and out and fades in and out like in different areas. And he
Hmm.
Greta the designer goes, it's to mimic the hoot of an owl. And I was like, okay,
Sometimes,
Greta.
hey, sometimes if you just want to mess with them, just say, "Hey, the kerning looks off on those two
Oh,
letters." Just say
okay,
that.
that's good to know.
That's like the blank space between two letters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if Tanner's always pointing out when kerning's bad.
Yes, the negative
Um,
space. I see it all the time.
yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, just
the
say that. Just
kerning.
say that just so they just say so they know,
Just so they,
Or
just
just say
so
just
they
say, "Hey,
know
the
that
kerning looks really
I
good."
know, and I can be
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's just so funny. I was like, no, Greta, you put this in PowerPoint and you did fade in and out. Like this is no hoot of no owl. But
Yeah, like I wonder if they like they come up with something and then they're like, "Oh, I have to make
no, I
something
think that's
up for
exactly
this."
what it was.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. I see so many bad logos, and I
I
don't
do
mean to like say it
too.
like in a mean way, but like there was someone who reached out to me that was like, "Hey, we're paying this person to do this logo. Like, what do you think of it?" And it looked like clip art.
Yeah,
And and I was just like, "Oh, I would look at these things," because like they were like, "Can you have Tanner look at it?" And Tanner was like, "I don't want to get involved," which
fair.
completely fair. Um, but like it was so much going on, and there was like overlay of different lines going in different directions,
Yeah.
and I was like, just like think about if you're looking 20 yards away from this, it can in the first 5 seconds, can people understand what this is?
Hmm.
Does this reflect your brand? Like,
Yeah.
is it easy to tell what this means? And I don't know. Like, I feel like I have no creativity bone in my body. Like,
Hmm.
I could never design a logo, but I feel like
Yeah,
over the
you
years I've been
don't.
able
You know
to
enough
pick up
what's
on
good and bad.
what's, yeah,
I agree.
yeah,
That's something I never really thought about until I started hanging out with Tanner, and he would just like point, like even like when you're just like at the diner and the tables have um, like the local logos on them, and he'll like point them out,
yeah,
and I'll be like,
yeah.
oh, that's
And
interesting. I've
and
never
like,
thought about that before. And now I always think like you should never have more than two fonts and on like a
yeah,
poster or whatever. He's just like has said
yeah,
little things like that that have actually really stuck with me. And I think it's obvious when you have like a Canva logo. Like
yeah,
it is cool when you can kind of notice like your own typography. Like Tanner made like a brand for your wedding, which is
yeah.
like very on brand for Tanner. And like
Hmm.
you can see that the Zoe and Tanner part is like you can just like pop that into like
Yeah, I think he
Word.
bought a font.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like not like I think they're like for farming, like you don't if you're selling a commodity, like you don't need a logo. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Unless you're at Camp Family Farms
Like
because we got
it's
a
not
sick ass logo.
Yeah, yeah, we paid full price for that. Tanner was a struggling college student and needed
I think
some
that's
money.
fair.
I'm never gonna let it down. Yeah, no, yeah, no, it's fair.
Although I do
I just like to
remember
say when people are,
hearing about it and being like, wow, all that for a JPEG. But
yeah, well, because it's like,
his
yeah, it's like
design, yeah.
it's hard to put, yeah, hard to put like a price on something like that, and then it's like, I don't know, in farming, like it's like, okay, well, if this random little screw costs $1,000, like, is a logo costing like, I think it
Yeah.
was like, $1,000 or whatever, but it's
Yeah,
like hard
my
to,
whole concept of money is skewed.
yeah. Well, and like if you're a small business starting out and you're like, oh, I need to have a logo, because like you need to have a logo to start if you're trying to sell something.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, up front you need to pay $1,000 for a logo. Like, of course you're gonna go to the person that's charging $30 for
Yeah,
logos that
but
are,
just like let it be known that
yeah,
it's obvious when it's a person charging $30 and when
yeah.
it's like a good logo you want to have for like years and years. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I just ordered a flower wall for an event last week and it was 30 grand. And I was
Oh
like,
my
oh, that's not
goodness.
bad at all. That's literally a
Yeah.
steal.
Well, that's like when we were getting our wedding flowers, the lady turned the screen on, and I can't remember if it was 600 or 700, but it was like 600 or 700% marked up. Like that was
Yeah,
on the thing.
that's
It was like the cost of flowers, and it was like marked up. And I was like, I need to start. And I knew, and I think it's totally valid. Like I think flowers are finicky, but like I hope. Well, no, I know because if it's marked up, it's like their process of buying it. Like the flower farmers need to charge more.
mm-hmm.
I don't know how much they're charging, but they need to charge more
Yeah.
because
The
like
whole
I
white
don't know.
tax or whatever, everything on wedding stuff, crazy.
Oh, it's insane and stupid and all a farce. And that's why none of you guys are gonna have flowers at my wedding. I'm not even doing my own bouquet because I'm like, no, I'm not paying $45,000 for flowers.
Oh, what are you gonna walk down holding? My hand?
My own hands. I'm gonna walk down like this.
Uh,
Now I'm gonna hold dad, and honestly, like
that's fair.
I'll wave to the people with my hand. Honestly, how do you do that? You walk down, you have both of your hands with your bouquet and your arms linked with
I don't know. I've
the
never
dad.
been to a wedding. That's not true.
That's
But
not true at all.
I haven't been
I
to a
don't
wedding
know.
in a minute. I think I have no idea.
I don't know.
Logistics.
Yeah, I know. I haven't been to a wedding in a minute either.
The
I kind of miss. I like going to weddings. Actually, Josh, he's gonna stay with us next week because he's at a wedding right now. Um, I'm like, oh, that would be a fun thing to do
I know.
today.
I haven't really been to a wedding since I think Grace and Jalen's wedding, which was that was only like 2 years ago, but 2 years ago. And then I have two weddings this summer.
Yeah, I have mine and Josh and Kelsey's. And that's and then Nicole's is in March, so
That's
kind
exciting.
of
Um,
wedding season.
I was gonna say something else, and now I don't remember. Are you gonna come to New York so we can go to West Hampton together to see the Toast
Um,
live?
I know. That's I just
I'm just,
Are they gonna do? Are they just live broad? Like, are they gonna live broadcast their episode, or is it a show?
I know. I think they're filming like a show, and we're just like
Okay.
participating.
Okay.
I'm just
I feel like
curious
that'd
about
be
like
fun. How
what the
much are
tickets are.
tickets?
Yeah, I know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that would be a very
Because
fun thing
part of
to
me
do.
is like, oh, it's a little teeny tiny little girly swilly podcast. Like nobody would give. The tickets are gonna be like $45. And then
Oh
I
no,
just have
this
a
is a media
feeling I'm
empire.
gonna like get online and they're gonna be like, so for $400 you can sit in the back row.
No, 100%. Like, because they are like, yeah, yeah. I
It's so funny on their Instagram stuff. They delete negative comments, and then if videos of them make it anywhere else, all of the comments are
Mhm.
like, hate those two.
Oh my goodness, yeah, no, so Claudia did this like 5K and she had a video saying like, I've been training for the 5K and blah 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 blah. And the comments were like, you had to train for a 5K. I'm like, people are so mean. And I
Yeah.
definitely have like things that I'm critical about of them,
Oh, for
like,
sure.
uh,
Yeah.
and like I definitely think they could be
Uh
problematic.
huh.
Um,
100%.
but but oh my goodness, just the world is brutal. Also, I was listening
Yeah,
to a
people
different
are
podcast
so
yesterday.
mean. That's like also where it's
I
like sister friends can't blow up because if people were mean to me like that, I would have to die.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast with Jen Hartman, I think is her name. She's like the high up person, she's like in charge of like PR at John Deere,
Mm.
and she was saying like it doesn't matter what you post, it matters that you engage. And so I was like, oh, I like hardly ever engage with my comments like, and so then I went to Facebook and people were absolutely brutal. And I was like, no, I'm not doing this.
Mm-mm.
I'm not. This is a toxic community. I think some people have like fantastic communities where like they
Yeah.
are very supported, but t- like at least Facebook for me is like a
No, I
toxic,
agree. And
wasteful
I
of
follow like a
horrible
lot of
people.
influencers, and it is crazy how some influencers like have cultivated like a very safe space on the internet, and then
Hmm.
others, it's like a war zone in the comments.
Yeah. I had a video that like so a wheel fell off the planter, like just closing wheel is no big deal, and I made a joke out of it because I was like, Dad says always says we're gonna like run till the wheels fall off, and he's got to stop saying that because like a wheel fell off. And someone commented, he said, "You don't have a survivor attitude. You don't need to be here, and your farm's not gonna survive. Just ask your dad." Like, I made a joke. I threw the wheel back on and I kept planning, and it was like, what? Like, okay, yeah, I don't have a survivor
I don't
attitude
even know what
because I
that
made a dad
means.
joke.
Like,
I don't know
does
that
that?
I
Did he
decided it
think you're
was
just gonna like go home for the day?
I I guess. I don't know. I don't know. And also like I just like people are just like crazy. And we've had this conversation before and we don't need to like just talk about how people are like crazy on the internet, but like people be people and
People be
people
peopling so
did you
hard.
did what your so we need to talk about your commencement. Did your speaker say anything problematic and
Um.
crazy?
So excuse me, the president was booed every single time she stuck to the podium. She's the first woman president of NYU ever. And I did a quick Google, and I couldn't figure out which problematic thing people were booing about. Um, and so I'm very disconnected from NYU, and especially
Hmm.
NYU students. So they were really mad at her for something, and I have no idea what. It could be really horrible, or it could just be like, I don't know. I don't know why. I did not boo. But so I didn't even hear what she had to say. Our commencement speaker was a like a human rights lawyer, and she was pretty good. She basically was talking about how your enemies can become your adversaries, but also like uh, everyone's an island, and like I don't know. Basically, she took like 100 of the world's best quotes and said them like
You just stuck them all together,
yeah,
yeah.
like injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere was mentioned. I don't even know. I'm doing a terrible job summarizing it, but
Hmm.
it was fine. I found out later on Twitter on excuse me X that like hundreds of candidates never graduates never even got into the stadium because check-in was so slow and they started it without them, and so like hundreds of people missed their commencement because the check-in was just horribly planned. All the students were going in gate 8, and then gate 4 and 6 were used for guests, parents, like whatever. And
Hmm.
because there's only 3 metal detectors, it just like really took a long time for people to get in. I got there at like 9:15. Doors opened at
Hmm.
9. It didn't start until 11. And so I waited in line for an hour and a half before I could even get into the stadium.
Oh
And
my
I had gotten there
goodness.
15 minutes after the doors opened. So, like, had you showed up, like, I don't know, an hour before the commencement, you might
Yeah,
not have gotten
which would
in.
seem like a normal time because like if you go to a baseball game, you you
I
know, like
know.
you don't
And,
have to
and
worry
I
about
was
getting
just
in.
confused because every week they use that same stadium with the same number of people and they manage to get everybody in and they do commencement there every single year. And so you'd think that they'd have it down to a science about we need this many gates and this many metal detectors and we got to keep things moving. So I don't know. It's very unfortunate. I would be really sad if mom dragged me to commencement and then I couldn't even sit down.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
But the best
Huh.
part
I feel
was
like
the nice thing about NYU is a lot of like famous and creative people have graduated from there, and so we had musical performances from Wicked. They sang For Good, but it was two graduates who actually played Alphaba and Glinda on Broadway,
Oh,
And so
wow.
we had like exceptional musical performances. And like Idina Menzel, who played Alpha Baba, graduated from NYU,
Uh-huh.
and the screenwriter and not the screenwriter, the play, like one of the writers that worked on the show. I don't know. There's
Hmm.
just like every time anyone would stand up, they'd have to like ramble on about how our alumni is amazing. And then they did like an
Hmm.
alumni video with all these like famous people. The guy from Chopped. I don't know.
The guy from Chopped.
It's just
Interesting.
I
Don't know
just
who
feel
that
like
guy
people
is.
that like wanted to make it in New York and the New York scene and like were forced to get a degree just like went to NYU.
Yeah. Right.
It's like all these people were trying to be on Broadway and they're like, well, I guess while I'm here, I might as well be an undergrad.
Yeah, yeah, this will be my backup plan that I'm getting while I'm doing this. Interesting. Huh. And I saw that you had French fries in there that look
Yeah, so the
good.
nice thing is they did open up like all the stadium food. I wanted a hot dog, but the French fries alone were $9. So look, I had to make a
Oof.
financial sacrifice here. So yeah, it was fine. I was alone the whole time because I didn't know anybody. But there were lots of
Hmm.
other people that were just like alone. So I was mostly just bored because I
Yeah.
had to sit for like an hour and a half before it started, and then sit for the 2 hours of the thing. And there
Yeah.
was one girl that was like 2 seats away from me that had her laptop and was straight up just working from home. And I was like, I was like, that's crazy. I took
Yeah. You're
PTO
like,
for this.
I'll do both. Yeah, that's funny, huh?
But it was good. Mom did not get choked up or anything. So,
So did you like you like at Ohio State's like you everyone walks across the ground or whatever, you get your thing. Like you just you go and then do they ship your thing to
yeah, so
you?
I've had my diploma since December. I hadn't sat in a
Oh,
classroom in over a year. So, like, I feel very detached from school. Um,
yeah.
no, so we are not allowed to touch the field. Uh,
Okay.
so we just, like, walked into our section and walked away. And then the hooding ceremony was the next day where you actually, like, walk across the stage and they put the hood on for you and you do stuff. I didn't even go to that.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know much about that
Yeah, so basically, yeah,
production.
doctoral candidates have, I'm sure, a whole shebang, including a parade, and probably people throw money at them. And then us
Hmm.
little master candidates walk across the stage, and someone puts on these ugly ass hoods.
Well, and the hoods are, I mean, it's like that's like the robe thing. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's like the additional piece that chokes you around your neck.
yeah, okay, go off, queen.
Um, yeah,
And aren't was yours expensive? I just
no.
remember Cody when
So
oh, okay,
masters, mine was like $100.
okay.
Doctoral robes are like $1,000.
I just remember Cody being like, "This is insane," and it's like I can either rent this every single year, but after this many years,
Yeah.
then like it'd make more money to have bought mine.
Yeah. So a lot of doctoral candidates will buy it in good faith that they'll get a job. And like that's kind of like what Cody did. One of my professors had just bought one off of Amazon. She was like,
Hmm.
I'm not paying for this. I'm not paying a
Yeah.
thousand dollars. But yeah, Cody has graduation this weekend and he's going, which I think is really nice. So the professors, like, they're not required to go. It's just whoever feels like graduation's important to them and they have the time.
Hmm.
And he's going this year, which he didn't go last year. So
Good. And so does he wear his
yeah,
garb?
he wears his
Okay.
whole get up, and I bet he's the only one
Yeah.
from
If I had to
Tulane.
pay, oh, because you wear where you graduated from.
Yeah,
Okay, right, and that's why all the people on the stage have like the different
yeah,
stuff on.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So Cody's is green.
Interesting.
The NYU ones are
Yeah.
purple. They're like not my favorite
Hmm.
color, but so
Nice.
yeah,
Lovely.
that was
Lovely.
that was
So
graduation, and then
the graduation, and you go to a
I
lovely
did. We
dinner.
went to Little Frankie's. I had some lemon pasta. Mom drank a lot of wine. I drank a lot of wine. We got 2 bottles for the table. Finished both of them. Then we had churros. It was
Nice.
lovely, and then Mom left, and that was sad. But here we are.
And now she's home. Now she's home. She's gonna start fighting my credit card fraud battle for me. We're not even gonna get into that, but I
We need to
am.
talk about your new favorite pastime, which is picking up rocks. That video of you falling in the field, hysterical.
Uh,
And dad going,
well, okay.
be careful.
After I fell
Yeah.
in, no, I know. Every time I pick up rocks, I get like a slew of people being like, "You're gonna hurt your back when you're old. You're gonna regret this." I'm like, dude, I regret it already. I'm already feeling it. But like. Rollers are $60,000 and up. The little machines that pick them up, $20,000, and you have to have a skid steer. Skid steers can cost a whole plethora of ranges of dollars. But I have my high schooler, Colin's coming at 10:30 today. I think it's too wet because we got more rain yesterday, but he's potentially going to pick up some rocks with me. I like it when there's two of us because it feels like twice as productive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but no, so I picked up that rock and I fell. So basically, it was like a whole bunch of water, and it was like there was just like that one rock I needed to get, and I just wanted to like I didn't want to come back to it because it was in the far corner of a field that like I don't go to often, and so I was like I just want to get it picked up now.
Mm-hmm.
But I lost my footing because I was like in mud and I fell back, and I have a bruise that is, I'm not kidding, 6 inches long and then a right angle. It's like it's like this on my leg, and like part of me is like I want to show it off, be like, look at this bruise
Yeah.
I got, because like I'm one of those people that like when I hurt myself, I'm like, yeah, this shows I'm tough or something.
Yeah.
But like I already had all those people that told me I was gonna hurt myself, so I'm
Yeah.
like I can't tell anyone about this besides you guys.
I literally could never. You can't pay me enough to pick up rocks in a field.
Oh no, I was so mean to
Do
everyone on
you
Tuesday.
like skip the gym on those days?
Oh, I don't remember the last time I worked out, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay. Well, I feel like that
Yeah,
is a
because I've just
workout.
been Yeah, no, I've just been picking up rocks, and like yesterday I didn't do anything, but like my body just hurt because I literally picked up rocks for like
Yeah,
14
that's like
hours in two
I'm not
days.
kidding. Like that's what they did to
Um,
like the enslaved Egyptians, like back in ancient times.
yeah, I mean it's not great. And so I use this like TerraClear service, and they show you where all of your rocks are. And so
Oh, I
like there
know.
was also
I
a whole
follow
bunch that I
Farmer
didn't.
Zoe.
There was a whole bunch I didn't need to pick up because they were smushed into the ground enough. It wouldn't have been an issue, but it was like since I know they're there, and like on the app you can't tell if they're smushed into the ground or not, so you have to go
You have to
check out all
look.
of them, do your due diligence.
So
Um,
basically,
but
after sorry, I'm an idiot. After you till the land, that brings rocks up to the surface.
Yes, and also just freezing and thawing. So I had 687 rocks just in a field that was all no-till. And so basically, like with the planter, it'll fling up a few, but it's like the freezing and the thawing of the soil
Hmm.
is what brings them up. And also like we'd done some minimum till on that field 2 years ago, and like when you're only going an inch in the ground, like that machine just like flips rocks up on top.
Mm-hmm.
And so like some people, and so like the guy who's from TerraClear said like some people do it in the fall, which I'm like, I think that's pointless because I'm gonna work the ground twice in the spring and it's just gonna push some rocks down and pull other rocks up.
Yeah.
So I don't see the reason for doing it in the fall, kind of, unless if it's like a large one that's gonna stay
Do you
up.
get frustrated when you have
Um,
to pick up rocks every year in the same fields? Because like, don't you feel?
Incredibly
Because
frustrating
you're like,
because
I
it's like
was
an
just here picking up these rocks.
100%, and it's like a never ending thing, and it'll never be done. Like it'll just
How
never be
many
done,
rocks are there
and that
below the
sucks.
surface? Like a lot.
Oh, millions, millions. Like
Gazillions.
I think there's like topsoil and then it's all rocks. Just where we're at, like because the glacier came in and basically like just dropped rocks or whatever. And but like 2 blocks away, we have a field that like we never scout for rocks. Like maybe once a year you'll see one rock laying in the field. It's like just the area that the glaciers decided to travel and drop rocks off on.
Interesting.
Don't try to make me explain that further. Um,
Glaciers.
but yeah, and then there's other places that where it's like people are always talking about like they're like, oh, like they're reading a book while they're in the field. Like I have to constantly be looking out for rocks.
Yeah.
I can't put my head down or like, I mean
I feel
obviously
like
I
reading a
film
book, that's like,
TikToks all the
that's
time,
too
but
detached. Like, you have to,
yeah.
you can like glance at your phone, but like, I don't know if you should straight up be reading a book behind the wheel.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just wild. It's just it's like they have nothing, they have nothing to worry about hitting, and I'm like I'm constantly worrying about
Well,
hitting a
I
rock.
have decided there's a new job I want.
Okay.
My boss's boss used to do special events at the Central Park and Bronx Zoo, and that
Uh-huh.
sounds so much fun. She was telling us about how like, you would always do an event in July called Chill with the Polar Bears. And basically it was just like around the polar bear exhibition and or enclosures. There was like popsicles and they'd put big polar bear footprints like around the zoo. And I was like, that sounds like so much fun to do programming like
Hmm.
that. That's all.
Yeah. That, that feels nice. That feels like exciting and
I
fun.
know.
Yeah.
Although I don't
You
know,
get people
you do
excited.
have to like work outdoors a lot, which is I
Hmm.
just don't like having to depend on the weather. Like I have an event on Monday, the rooftop's open, and I've had to like check the weather every day last week to see if it's gonna rain, and I don't. That's like not a lifestyle I like to have, which I know is
Yeah,
your lifestyle.
it's currently a lifestyle that I freaking hate.
I don't like to be
No, it's
dependent
just
on
incredibly,
the rain.
yeah. It's just incredibly frustrating because it's like I know I have so many things I need to do and I can't do them. I can't get them done. On Monday, Tina called and no, not Monday, on Friday. She's gonna come up on Monday and we're gonna scout fields. She's my seed dealer, and we're gonna see if I need to like start thinking about replanting a few places, and then talk about like what we're gonna do if we can't get in the fields and I need to like switch the populations or I need to like switch to beans and not corn. And then Luke, the guy who's doing my spraying, he called. He's gonna change the spray we're doing. It's just gonna be a post-emergence rather than a pre-emergence because he's like worried about his timing of getting his crop out and like trying to spray before our crops up, just because it's like we have this very small time window and like we're going to push really hard and he also needs to push really hard.
Yeah,
um, so we are like entering the part of the game plan where we're like switching things up, which is
yeah,
frustrating.
all because of rain. Because rain won't go away.
Oh, just rain won't go away, and then every time that I post that it's raining, people are like, be thankful. I'm like,
How
yes,
about
I
you mind your own
understand.
business? How about
I know.
like
Well,
can't
and
you
I know
can't
what's
you
going to
just be
happen.
frustrated without other people being like unhappy?
I know. Well, it's like I know what's gonna happen. It's like I'm gonna be complaining about all this rain. We're gonna get everything planted, and then it's not gonna rain. I'm gonna be begging for
Yeah.
rain. It always happens this way.
Begging
Oh.
you.
Dad and I took a mental health day on
Yeah,
Wednesday,
we
and we went
both
to the
saw
movies.
Challengers. What was your thoughts?
I love a movie that like 2 days later I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah.
Um, I know with the Met Gala that people had at that one place, at the Gala of the Met, people were like, all these rich people doing rich people things. They're so
Mm-hmm.
out of here. Like Zendaya had two outfits that were cost billions of
Mm-hmm.
dollars. And then watching her in that movie, I was like, this girl deserves billions of
I
dollars.
know.
There's a
So
reason.
I
There's a reason this girl is famous. There's a
yeah.
reason this girl is rich. She is talented beyond
No, I
belief.
know. I completely agree. I went to see the movie because I love Zendaya and she is just like her face I want on my face and her body I would like as my body. She
And all of her clothes and like just it was
and
like
she's so
effortless.
talented and like when I cut a bob that's what I was envisioning my bob was going to look like.
That's what every girl who's like, "Oh, I'd like to have short hair." That's what they want it to
Yeah,
look like.
my hair
But
never
it
once
won't
looked
ever
like
do
that.
that. No.
Um, I my only critique was that I thought the ending was a little long. Like when they kept doing slow mo, and
Oh, I did not like
the
when
last
when
15
the
minutes, I was like, okay, we can
yeah.
wrap it up. Also, I didn't like that we never found out who won.
Yeah, so it's like because I looked it up afterwards, like it's implied that her
The
husband
art one,
won.
yeah, but they
Yeah.
were just getting to the point where they were tied. So like that wasn't
Yeah.
the winning point at the end.
Right. Yeah.
But I do agree, like when Zendaya like screamed or whatever, that was supposed to be like winning. But I also fully believe that the other tennis player, who I can't think of his name, Zarog or something,
Yeah.
he loved art. Art loved Zendaya, and Zendaya loved tennis. And they were just like, no one was going to be
Yes.
happy because it was
Yes.
a love
And I thought
circle.
I thought it was I thought it was interesting. Like I always like it when like the main character becomes more unlikable because
Yeah.
like she is like she was very
Oh, I
problematic.
know. I was so
And
disappointed in her when she cheated. Hopefully, the spoiler. Hopefully, no one's
yeah,
spoiling
sorry
this.
for everyone. Yeah. I know. It was that and then like when her husband's like when she was like I will leave you if you don't win tomorrow. I
Yeah.
couldn't tell if she was like being for real. I think she was
I
being
think
for
she's being
real,
for real
but
too.
he thought she was like and then she was just like he was like laying there crying, and she was just like I don't know. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, you're a
She's heartless. And I loved
heartless.
that. I
Yeah,
thought that was so good.
yeah. Well, and it just like I just thought it was so like I don't know. I really liked the movie, and like
I know.
I
Now
don't
I
know.
kind of want to go play
It was like one of
tennis.
those things where it's like so frustrating. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a
In the soundtrack,
and
it
then
was like
it's
a
like you feel
video game
empathy.
soundtrack.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
for
yeah.
some parts, it was like shot like a like Wes Anderson movie, and like I don't know, it was just like shot very interesting. And the
I
if
did
that
not need all the close-ups of their sweat.
I
I
felt
did
like
not
there
need
were like
that.
two different directors that were like kind of competing against each other. Um, and Dad's critique of it, the timeline is so back and forth. Like that's true.
hmm
You have to like really pay attention to how
Because
long
yeah, because
Zendaya's
when it's
hair
like
is, because that's like
yeah,
the
because
only
it's like, and I
indicator.
think that's, and I like when movies do that because it's like they give them a certain hairstyle, so it's like you can
Hmm.
remember kind of, because like when you give me context of like 9 years and 8 years and this and that, I can't keep track of like which one was
Yeah.
which, and
I just read a book where every chapter it had like the date, like July 1st, 1972,
hmm
and it would jump back and forth between like 10 years, but sometimes it would just be like a
hmm
couple months in the future. And I had to constantly
hmm
be like looking back at the last chapter and be like, okay, so it was July, so this is December. It was like way too much mental work.
yeah,
You
yeah,
can't do that. It needs to just be like 10 years ago now.
yeah, yes, I agree,
Speaking of,
especially like for
I gave
a
mom three
like a
books
book.
to give you.
Good, good, good. Yeah, and Ellen has some books for me too. I have not been reading recently. Um, but I need to get back on it. I have the itch for it. Have you started watching? Have you watched all of Bridgerton?
No, I only
Bridgerton?
watched the first season and then I never watched after that.
Oh, the newest season is out. I'm like 3 episodes in.
I
I started
also
it last
don't have
night.
Netflix anymore because I was kicked off the family's Netflix.
Well, then we will not discuss. Yeah, me too. I just use Tanner's.
Well,
But
I don't have
yeah,
any.
new season. It's interesting because it's like a character who has been kind of like a main character like
Is it the
the whole time. Like
blonde?
I feel like
The is it Lady
no,
Whistledown?
it's yes, it's Lady Whistledown
I
or
don't know.
Whistledown. I don't.
I'm
Yeah, it's
on
her.
like Bridgerton talk and like it's all over my
hmm
like X feed and stuff. So like I'm aware of what's happening, but I hear a lot of people really like the sister that has like brown hair.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
hear she's like a crowd favorite.
Yeah. No, I liked it. I like the season. I do struggle because like it's one of those shows where it's like it's mostly like modern day speak, and then there every once in a while it's like words are like kind of convoluted, and
Yeah.
I'm like wait. I have to do the mental gymnastics to figure out what they were saying.
Hmm.
And I have to do subtitles because like I can't tell what they're
Oh, when
saying
I went to see
sometimes.
Challengers, there were subtitles. We go to the
Is
murder
that
theater, and it's truly bad. And I
yeah.
actually don't think I can go back because this time I actually did see a cockroach. I'd always just like heard about
Oh.
cockroaches, and had never
Mhm.
seen one for my own life. But then I actually did see one in the bathroom, and no, I don't think I can go back. But it's like so janky, and I think someone just like accidentally turned on subtitles, and we had subtitles for the whole movie.
That's so funny. Sometimes that like ruins a movie because it's like
I think
you
I
read
think
it
in the
before you see it.
theater it actually kind of hinders the experience, but when I just like watch television, I usually have subtitles on.
Interesting. Yeah, Dad and I were the only two in our theater because it was a Wednesday at noon.
I want to see
It was
Fall
nice.
Guys. Did Dad like Fall Guys?
Yes, he did like it. It was interesting. So Dad went to see that movie, and like I needed to work, but I felt guilty for not going with him because I just like going to movies with him, and I like worry about him driving.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to see Planet of the Apes, and that was like the day I was thinking about taking a mental health break
Yeah.
and taking a day off, but I decided not to because I had things that just kept coming up, and like the whole time he was there, I was like, oh, I should have gone, I should have gone, I should just
Well,
like
he didn't
reprioritize
like it,
stuff.
so.
No, and he got back and he was like, I'm so glad you did not go because it was so bad.
So
I was like,
my
okay,
boss went and saw it, but she loves creature movies. Like Kong
okay,
Island, Skull Island, King of the Kong is like one of her favorite movies. She went and saw it in one of those like 5D theaters where your seats move, you get air and water sprayed
oh
on
my
you. It's like you're
goodness.
like literally in a roller coaster. And she didn't know she was in it till the movie started, and all of a
Okay.
sudden she was getting sprayed with water and thrown around. But she loved
That's
it. But
wild.
she was saying that her caveat is that she just like likes those like kind of creature-y movies.
Yeah, that's Dad was saying. I think he said like I would have liked it if I was 12.
Yeah.
But he also
He
said
also said
he
like
was
yeah,
gonna be
he's like I
scared.
saw the
Yeah.
original come out in like 1964. So I was like
Oh, yeah, yeah,
he was like telling me about the original plot and I have never seen King Kong or any movie like that.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm liking this like renewal of the rom-com because I really liked Anyone But You. I want to go see Fall Guys. I just think that that's fun.
I like a lighthearted movie.
Yeah.
I like, and Tanner does not. Tanner wants to like watch something that makes him think, that like is
I
anxious.
know.
Like
I feel like he
I
like would
want.
put on like a Holocaust documentary. It's like now it's.
He's constantly
I
always
just
watching a
remember we
Holocaust
were
documentary.
waiting to charge. We were on our way home from that Cavs game and we had to charge for like 10 minutes.
Hmm.
Charge the Tesla, and he put on a World War II documentary, and I was like, why are
Yeah,
we watching this?
I know. It is so boring. Like, not boring. I mean, it's like important
Yeah.
and like
I was just like, can
educational,
we
and he
watch
has
like
like so much
literally
context for
anything
things. But
else? He's like, no.
oh my gosh, he just finished reading that book that's about like the guy who saw aliens, and then it was like supposedly like a government cover up. But then so he wanted to read the whole book and then do a critique on the guy,
Mm-hmm.
because like basically I was just like, I don't know. And I don't like
He's
I
always reading
just
like the hard hitting, like scholarly books of the moment that are like
yeah,
talking about the interdisciplinary, you know, I don't know.
yeah. And I can't, like, I need to and maybe this is like a limiting belief that I have, but like my brain can only hold so much information, and it's not holding enough of the information I already need it to
Yeah.
hold. I cannot throw more education in there.
Yeah, I just truly have enjoyed spending my reading time just reading like for funsies. I don't really want to read like I don't know.
Yeah. And I like a book. I like
I
a
don't
book
want
that
to
makes
read
you
about like
think,
World War
but like,
Two. Sorry, I think that's boring.
yeah, I'd rather like feel emotions and like get that kind of thing rather than just like learning facts.
Yeah, I really don't read any nonfiction unless it's celebrity memoirs, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, I do, but sometimes they suck. Sometimes they're
Yeah,
s-
R.I.P.
like
that
it's a
guy.
hit or
He
miss.
sucked.
Oh my goodness. Yes, the guy from the
That
show,
was our most
um,
controversial take. That guy from Friends. What is his?
Chandler,
Yeah,
Chandler from
Chandler
Friends.
Bing.
But
Anyways, rest
yeah,
in
I
peace.
mean,
But the
rest in
whole
peace,
time I
but
was
that was
reading that, I was like, this is so stupid. All he wanted to do
oh,
was
and
be
then
rich and famous and he had a drug problem, and I'm supposed to feel bad for him?
and like his parents got divorced. And
I
like
know.
I just there's
And
so many
to be
people
fair,
that have
we
had
both read
so
it after
hard.
Jack McCartney's
Jeanette McCurdy's
book,
book,
and
yes.
where it was
And so that did
literally
not
like
help.
my mom
My
traumatized
mom was
me.
abusing me. Yeah, my teeth are falling out. Like just horribleness. And then it's like, and then he's like, I was rich and had a drug problem. And like, I'm not like drug problems horrible. Like,
Absolutely.
yes, I'm sure that is a
Addiction is a
hard
disease.
struggle.
100%.
100%, 100%. But like from this vantage point of like, and it didn't even matter because I had billions of dollars, and so I just threw money at the problem, but the problem never got resolved. Like I just it I didn't have empathy for him.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find empathy for him in the way he was writing about it. Like I
Yeah.
just and I do think if like maybe he had a ghostwriter or someone else writing it for him, I could have, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
had the writing been different, had someone else wrote about him,
Yeah.
I would have maybe felt different. And maybe he just like wasn't being eloquent with
Did you
the
read Britney
way he
Spears'
was
book?
writing. I did not
And so I
know.
also read that
Did
one,
you?
and it just like read like a stream of consciousness, which she did have. It was like a ghost writer, and they wrote it off of therapy sessions and just like conversations with her, but it read like a stream of consciousness podcast. Also not the best, but some of them are really good. I'm trying to think about celebrity memoirs I've really enjoyed. Like I loved Tina Fey's. I loved Amy
Yes.
Poehler's. I really liked
Okay. Did John Mulaney have one?
He might have to, but that's not the one I was thinking of. I was thinking of Colin Jost.
Oh, that's who I no,
Yeah.
that's who I was
Where he's
thinking
like,
of.
he's like,
Yeah.
I have a punchable face or something like that. It's the name of it. I thought that
Yes.
was really basically if
Yes.
you're a writer on SNL, I like your stuff.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, no, I've just there's some really good ones, and then there's some where I'm like, I actually don't really care that much about your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, sister friend, it's been so real. Do you have fun weekend plans?
I'm gonna work, and then Josh is staying with us the whole week. So a whole week of hosting a guest is
Is it
interesting.
just
Never done it
Joss, not
before.
Jocelyn Kelsey?
Correct. So they're flying in for a wedding today, and then they have Josh's bachelor party next weekend. And so basically,
Is that in Ohio or is
uh,
that somewhere else?
no, it's in Florida. So
Florida.
Florida. And so basically, he was like, "Oh, I don't want to fly to Arizona and then back to Arizona, then fly to Florida and
Yeah.
back to Florida." So basically, he's saving himself one flight by staying here for a week.
Hmm.
Um,
Put
but
him to
he's gonna get
work.
some. Well, he's working from home.
He's got a lunch hour.
And but yeah, I know. And this, I'm like, if I could get him and Tanner picking up rocks, I would be set. But this is also me. Like, I don't think I have enough control. Like, I'm so bad at like giving up control over different
Delegating.
things, delegating. Because I'm like, how would I know that you cared enough to make sure you picked up all of the
Yeah.
rocks?
Well, that's a
Which
you problem.
is that's 100% a me problem.
Also,
Because also
don't trust me. I would never care as much as you do to pick up all the rocks.
well, because like they don't have a vested interest on like whether and I don't know.
Sounds like you've been burned by some people.
I haven't. That's the thing is I have not been burned by anyone. But yeah, I don't
Florida.
know. So that Colin gets out of school, I think his last day is like Thursday or something. I'm gonna try to like have him like we don't have a ton of stuff to do around here, but he wants to be involved, and so like I'm gonna delegate just some like pick up this scrap pile. I need the electrical building cleaned up. I need the semi washed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna start having him do some of those like not so glamorous jobs.
Nice.
So I'm excited for that. It's weird having an employee who's younger than me. Just like obviously I know JD works for me, but it's not that kind of relationship
Yeah.
because he's in charge.
Yeah.
Like he just has way more experience and he's knows what he's doing and he's also my landlord. So it's just a different
Turns out
dynamic
it's
and
JD's family farm.
it it ought to be.
JD's family
But
farm and associates.
yeah, and I'm hoping this is our week. There's still a little bit more chances of rain, but if we can just skate by them,
I believe
I
in
just
you.
need like 5 days. I just need like 5 days, and then I don't know. I felt guilty booking this trip I have in June, mid-June, because I'm
To
really hoping that
Iowa?
we're done by then to Iowa. Uh
Sounds
it's
work related.
it's yeah
So
it
why do
is
you
it
feel
is
guilty about that? Because you could be in the fields? I hope you're not in the
yeah
fields
yeah if
mid-June.
oh we have been before yeah
Hmm.
yeah we've planned it on Father's Day before. Um, so yeah, I'm just hoping we're wrapped up by then.
Well, I will pray to the rain gods to stop raining.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'll see you next
Yeah,
week.
hopefully toodaloo.
Hopefully I've been in the field by then. Okay, bye.
Bye.